Alright, so we're going to check line pressure. We're going to check the main line pressure, which is right there. It's the last port, test port on the 350 transmission. And it'll test, of course, like I said, the main line pressure. That's what we want to test to see what the pressure is for reverse. So let me pull that port out, that plug out, and then we will put our gauge on there. Alright, going through here's my thing, going through my kit. I've got an adapter right here. So we're going to go ahead and put this adapter on, and we'll screw that in, and then we'll screw our line into it. There's our gauge. Alright, so we've got the gauge hooked up. I've just brought it into here. And it should be between 86 and 250 or somewhere around there for reverse. So let's start it up. I did lose some fluid installing the gauge, so we may be low on fluid now, we'll see. Alright, so in neutral, we've got 60, 75. Alright, so let's put it in reverse. Got 100 up to 150. And that's good line pressure. Let's see what we got in first. 100 in first. So line pressure in reverse, and right now it's slipping. We've got good line pressure. See any reason for it to. So let me take it apart. I'm gonna roll down my window, see if I can get that gauge in the door, and I'm gonna make sure I don't have any leaks, transmission fluid leaks. Make sure that hose, that line isn't in the way of anything to get burned, and we may go for a little ride and see what line pressure does. There we go. It's the best I can do. So I'm just going to have to remember, I can't really see the dials. About halfway is 150. So, what I'm curious is if I've got, I think it's third gear. So we're going to see. So I'm going to shut this off for a minute. We'll see how it does. Once it idled down, I mean it's idling super low. I've got only about 50 pounds of pressure, but it goes up when I give it gas, so I'm not sure on that. We're gonna see. I've got about the same. No, I've got a little more in drive. Let's see. Yeah. And then if I put it back in reverse. So line pressure is definitely low in reverse compared to the other gears. Alright, it's in third gear. Working just fine. Ooh, and it's got some brakes that pull hard. It's got good brakes, but they pull. Alright, so it's got third gear. And in this next run, I'll give it a little more gas, make sure it's not slipping or anything. But, so it's got first, second, third, no reverse. Or, well, it's got reverse, but it slips. And the line pressure is really low. The line pressure is really low until you give it gas. So it's like it's got a leak in somewhere in reverse, and it's bleeding off pressure and it's slipping. When you give it gas, it gives it enough pressure to override whatever leak it has. That's what I'm guessing. Alright, so we've got good pressure through all the gears. First, second, third, all work good. So that makes me think the clutches for third gear are fine, because it holds just fine in third. No slipping, no nothing in third gear. Shifts perfectly through all three gears, whether you give it just a little bit of gas or you give it, you know, half throttle or something. I didn't go full throttle or anything. It's still got some nasty gas in it. So we're holding, we've got it in first gear, or drive. We're holding at close to 75. This is with it idling fairly low. So that's drive, idle. If we shift to neutral, we're about the same. Reverse, we drop way down for line pressure. So I think there's somewhere in the reverse circuit that's leaking fluid. Because now I've got my foot off the brake and we're not moving. Now if I give it a little bit of gas, we go, and the line pressure comes up and it catches. When I give it gas, it catches into reverse. So drive, perfect. Drive works just fine. Reverse, it's not really that it slips. It's a weird feeling, because once you give it gas, it catches and it's got good reverse. What it's like is it doesn't have enough pressure to engage reverse, and you give it gas and then reverse engages, you know, because the pressure comes up. So I guess now I need to start looking to see where it could be. I was gonna pull the pan and change the filter and everything and look in the pan and see if I saw anything, but I really don't think there's a problem with the filter or anything. I was wondering if you know, if it's possible the gasket was no good for the filter and it was sucking air, but I think if it was, you would see it more in other gears, you know, since it's only has a problem in reverse, and you can immediately see it as soon as you drop it into reverse, the pressure just drops. So obviously somewhere it's bleeding off pressure. So anyway, this is a lot of rambling. I'll look and see if I think I have a 350 manual. We'll rebuild manual. I'm gonna pull it out and see if it shows anything for low line pressure in reverse. So, all right, so I found my manual, and so we have direct clutch circuit leak, pressure low in reverse, but normal in all of the ranges. So reverse was the only time it was low. So in the car, so that's without pulling the transmission, you can remove the 1 to 2 accumulator cover on the right side of the case. You just push that cover in, and there's a little clip, there's a little indentation in the case where you can pop the little clip out. And this is actually the 1 to 2 accumulator. This is out of another transmission that I parted out that had a broken case. That black K10 I had, the original transmission that was in it, this was out of it. I had to swap the output shaft on it from a 20. I had a good rebuilt 350 transmission. I had a 203 transfer case, and I wanted to use the 208 that the K10 had, and so I had to pull both the transmissions completely apart, pull the main shaft, the output shaft, out of the busted transmission and put it into my transmission. So this is the, like I said, this is the 1 to 2 accumulator out of that transmission. what I may do is just pull, this one's fine, that transmission shift worked fine until they busted the case on it. So I may just swap this in there. I'm going to pull the one out of here and just look at it. If I see anything on it that looks questionable, I'm just going to put this one in there. The seals and everything look good on it. I don't see any nicks, any spots that could leak on it. So may just swap that one in there. So then this is the accumulator piston, and those would be the sealing rings right there. So then the other possibility is you can remove the pin and the valve body and the 2 to 3 accumulator piston and rings. So you just take the, if I recall correctly, take the bolts out of the valve body, and and so you don't have to take the that plate off that's between the valve body and the case of the transmission, so you don't lose the check valves or anything like that. Those would stay on the other side of the plate. So that would be, so you can still do that in the car or in the truck. Then if that's not it, then you've got to check the direct clutch, which is one of the first things that goes in the transmission. So that would be removing it, taking it completely apart. Let's see if they have a full diagram on this thing. Yeah, it's right in here. So all this stuff. Oh wait, direct clutch right there. Let me see. This is a ATP catalog from 1988, but it's a good parts diagram. Let's see, direct clutch. So it would be this direct clutch piston, and then those seals could be leaking, but I'm hoping that's not it. I'm hoping it would be really great if it was in this 1 to 2 accumulator, because that's going to be a super easy fix. So I guess the next video we'll see if this is the problem.